Welcome to episode 4 of the Open Mind Show. I'm your host, Zachary. Let's get the show on the road. You are now listening to the Open Mind Show, the show that gives you endless entertainment, nice relaxing entertainment, so you don't have to stress out anymore. Enjoy the show. Whew. Like, I don't even know how to start a podcast anymore. Like, I'm just so confused. I'm surprised it even lasted this long. Man, 4 episodes. Wow, I'm proud of myself. No, but anyways, freaking today's episode is gonna be a little bit of a random one, to be honest with you, because like there's topics to talk about. You know, the shooting that just happened in Jacksonville. That just like literally happened yesterday, which is fucking crazy. And then there was a shooting a day before that too, at some sort of high school football game. Like, what is wrong with today's world, man? I swear the world's ending. You got freaking flesh-eating diseases. You got freaking more school shootings not school shootings, but shootings in general. You have fucking, just so much shit going on in this world, man. It's nuts. It's literally fucking nuts. But in other terms, let's just talk about how bad I am at, keeping a schedule. And I'm actually pretty proud of this because I'm known to fuck shit up. Like, literally, I fucked up so many things in my life, and it's not even funny. Like, I was supposed to go to a date with this girl. This was like years ago. I was supposed to go on to this date with this girl. You know what I ended up doing instead? I ended up eating ice cream, watching YouTube, and passing out instead of going to the date. So I pretty much blew the girl off for ice cream and chill by myself. So, I'm pretty bad at scheduling, honestly. I try to keep a schedule, though, because, if you don't, like, somewhat schedule your life, and, if you're a person like me who has, like, sporadic brain and who's, like, constantly doing crazy things, for instance, I was supposed to record, oh, fuck me, it's, like, 2 a.m. and I'm trying to record this podcast and I can't talk. I was supposed to record this podcast, maybe 5 hours ago. Maybe at like 9 o'clock, 8 o'clock, something like that. 5-6 hours ago. And, it is now like 2:15 in the morning. And I am now just recording this podcast to have it uploaded by 9 o'clock. And you know how I like to do these podcasts. I like to render them in 4K resolution. I don't know why, because it's just a single, like, fucking image. I actually really have decided whether or not I wanted to, like, do an actual podcast show, like, with a camera and stuff, because I have that stuff. I have the camera equipment and stuff to, like, do that, but, to record it in 4K, I don't think so. But, that's another thing I do want to talk about in this podcast, so, like, I might end up having to lower the resolution of the podcast down to 1080p, for sure, because, like, as much as I love 4K and everything, but it's just, like, 4K I think is a little bit much. You know what I'm saying? Like, especially for, like, just a still image. I might actually consider, filming an actual podcast with, like, you guys being able to see an actual show. You guys were able to see me and, interact. Well, not interact, but, see me on the screen. Kind of like a sit back and chill type, kind of like No Jumper show. I'm really inspired. That's actually one of the shows that inspired this show, was the No Jumper show. And there's 2 podcasts in particular that inspired me to create this show, and that's the No Jumper show and Curious by Josh Peck. One of my 2 favorite podcasts in the world to, sit there and listen to, even though, No Jumper is not, like, I don't think it's an actual podcast, because I can't find it on Spotify, Apple Music, but I'm pretty sure it is on SoundCloud, so I think it's still considered a podcast technically, but I'm not sure on that. But either way, YouTube, this one's on YouTube's, because, like, I just don't have the cash, you know what I'm saying, the cash to be able to pay these services to, host my podcast, I'm not some fucking Bill Gates over here. Got like $80 billion. Like, bitch, no. I'm broke as fuck. I mean, not broke, but you know what I mean? Like, I would rather spend my money somewhere else and just, you know what I'm saying? You feel me? But yeah, fucking scheduling, man. Like, it's just not my thing, man. Like, yeah, live my life day to day on Google. Like, I get up every Monday. Monday is usually the day that's my most busiest, as I'm like getting YouTube content out. I'm getting the podcast stuff, the podcast out, and I'm just doing a lot of other stuff. All at the same time, I'm like trying to plan out the rest of my week and like how everything's gonna go. What am I gonna do? And you might be saying like, what the fuck? He's just like a podcaster, YouTube creator. How can his life be that much stressful than, compared to someone who works a 9-to-5 job? Well, let me tell you something. People like, I want to talk about this in another podcast, but I'll touch on it briefly. People think that being a YouTuber is the most easiest job in the world, even though like it really isn't. You know what I'm saying? I mean, we got the demonetization shit going on. We got fucking just so much shit. I mean, it. People think it like, oh, it's like a 10-minute thing. You know what I'm saying? Like, we make a 10-minute video, we did it in 10 minutes, we throw it up, and that's whatever. No, we record for like 30, 40 minutes, and then we break that down into 10 minutes in, a 2-hour, 3-hour editing session. You know what I'm saying? Like, I just don't get why people say YouTube is the easiest job in the world. Even getting this podcast up on time is pretty hard for me because, like, you know what I'm saying? Like, I've got to render 2 YouTube videos a day. I got to stream. And then, like, on top of that, I've got businesses I've got to run behind the scenes. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's a lot. It really is a lot. And, like, and I feel like that has a big role in my reason why I'm always up till 3, 4, 5 a.m., recording YouTube videos, recording podcasts, and all that other stuff. Because, like, yeah, I'm running businesses behind the scene. But also, you guys got to, take note that, like, I also need to have time to take care of myself. Mentally and physically. As I have chronological kidney disease, and I have heart problems. I have diabetes. All that kind of stuff. I got to make sure I'm, like, well taken care of. I've got mental illnesses. And things like that I've got to, really latch down on and take care of. Those should be my priorities, not just, sitting here making a Minecraft YouTube video or, talking about, why panties should never be on guys, like, it's just like things like that, I've noticed over the past like week since I've started making podcasts that I say a lot. And I mean a lot. Even when I'm not recording or streaming or whatever the fuck I'm doing. Like, I still, like, I was at a friend's house yesterday. And fucking making, like, no, we weren't making YouTube videos. We were doing something. And I was just like, or like, I was trying to explain something. Oh, no, it was Saturday. Was it Saturday? It was either Saturday or Friday or something like that is when it happened. Because one of my other friends, who was also in the PlayStation party when I was taught with my other friend, and my other friend is from California, and he just got into high school, and he has now had his first crush. So, like, we were trying to talk to him and stuff, and I was trying to explain, like, we were trying to explain a lot of things, and I was constantly saying, constantly, and I don't know, I mean, thanks, podcasting. Thanks for giving me the syndrome. I really appreciate it. But the bottom line is, scheduling for me is probably the most hardest thing for me. As, like, I'm easy to persuade to, come get me to do something. So, for instance, say, like, I'm, about to go do my editing for the night. And my friend texted me, he's like, hey, do you want to come over? I'm easy to persuade. He, like, there was one time I told him, hey, like, I can't come over, I'm about to go edit. He's like, oh, you can do the editing at my house. So, I brought my laptop expecting to do my editing. My editing didn't get done because we were too busy playing The Crew and playing The Division and things like that. So, like, it's like I'm just super easily persuaded, And I think that's like one of the bad traits that I hate about myself is that I'm easy persuaded and easy tricked, and and I think that's part of like a mental illness that my mental illness that I have, because people who have anxiety and stuff are really easy to like take control of and be able to like fuck with them and mess with them and control them and things like that. And I mean, that's from what I saw. Maybe I'm just fucking dumb and retarded, but and there it is again. There's the. So like, honestly, I mean, I take pride in my work though when I do a good job. Like, for instance, a few of my YouTube videos that I've made, like, I take pride in those things because I know I did a good job and I worked really hard on it. And it's just like a masterpiece to me, right? It's like, when you have an artist like NF who makes music. By the way, if you haven't heard of NF, you should really check him out. Really, if you're into like really deep music and like, I want to say almost like really deep storytelling, and but he is a Christian rapper, just keep in mind. I mean, it doesn't bother me that he's a Christian rapper, but some of the stuff he really touches in his music is like, really just bottom line, really just like fucking dark, some deep shit, like a lot of the deep shit that went on in his past. I'm pretty sure like there's one music video called there's one song called Why Did You Leave Us, and I think that's about his mom overdosing on pills and things like that. Nature, like, it's really just like, it's sad that people can relate to that kind of stuff. Like, not every life is perfect, and that's what I was trying to stress to my friend, is that like you don't have a perfect life. There is just, it's not possible. There's always gonna be some sort of trauma in your life. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's just like I hate people who think that they're perfect and that their lives are perfect, even though like you can clearly see the flaws in them. Like, it's it's stupid. But hey, people are gonna believe what they believe. But NF, one of the realest like songwriters that I can listen to and relate to. But not only, like, it's not just NF. Like, Joyner Lucas did a good job with his song, what is it called? I'm Sorry. And then he did another song called Frozen, I'm pretty sure. And there was another song that he did. But on a real note, talking about artists, to be honest, like I said, this podcast episode is going to be, like, random. It's going to be completely random. And I'm sorry about that. I mean, when are my my podcasts structured? Never, honestly. I really need to get somebody in here to interview, because that would be fucking dope. But what was I saying? Oh yeah, J-Tex, one of the best rappers, and I mean, boy, his song "If I Should," that was like, I remember seeing that on Facebook and just thinking, oh my god, like, what did this man do to deserve to make a song like this? Like, I mean, this song was straight, like, out of, like, fucking, I don't know, like, what it came out of. It was, like, he was talking about, like, he wanted to commit suicide, and, like, the visuals were, like, him shooting himself in the head. Like, oh, it was just crazy. Like, some of the art and some of the, like, today's music from some of these artists is, like, fucking crazy. Speaking about that, I do want to talk about, just music in general, but the rap scene. Like, what's gonna happen next, man? Like, I mean, X just got killed. Who's next? I'm always thinking about that, man. Like, who's it gonna be next? Is it gonna be Trippie Redd? Is it gonna be Lil Pump? Is it gonna be 6ix9ine? Like, that's a scary thing. Like, I just don't think that someone should lose their life ever, unless, it's over, like, a natural cause. Say, for instance, heart attack, or, fucking, whatever it may be. Collapsed lung, fucking died out liver, died out kidneys. I just don't believe in suicide and all that stuff. People killing each other. Like, I just wish that wasn't a thing. You know what I'm saying? I kind of just wish that everybody would get along and not have to worry about, whose life is going to be taken next. And I think one of the things that really hit me the hardest, obviously his death has really hit me in a soft spot, because like I did relate to a lot of X's music and things like that. But what really hit me is when I watched the No Jumper podcast with Bad Baby, where she like just cries. And we're gonna talk about Bad Baby on another episode, but man, like I've never seen that girl. Like she's the hardest bitch I've ever seen. Like, the Cash Me Outside, how about that? Like that girl is pretty fucking tough. But when it comes to that, you can tell that she's just this sweet, innocent little girl inside who's trapped. You know what I'm saying? Trapped behind like all the like trap and rap and all the crazy shit, all the bad behavior, the drugs, the violence, and all that shit. And that's in today's modern world. I mean, I'm not saying in today's modern world. I mean, it's not as bad as New York in like the 90s or whatever. But I'm just saying, like, some of the shit that's happening in today's world is crazy. And props to her. Like, and she's probably going through a tough time right now. Like, just from me watching that podcast, I'm guessing that she's dealing with a lot of grief still. And like a lot of like, I don't know, like I feel like she has like some sort of like PTSD disorder. I mean, I can't say for myself because I don't talk to the girl, I don't know the girl, but what I'm trying to say is, like, when something like that dramatic happens in your life, you lose a best friend, but I feel like he wasn't just a best friend to her. I feel like he was like more of like a brother and more of that like that bigger figure to her. And for her to say I hate you and I never want to talk to you again, and then her not being able to talk to him one last time before he dies, I think that really just like that hits her pretty hard every day. And that probably just gives her that tick, that sets off that anxiety or sets off that depression or sets off that PTSD. Because I've been through that situation, and I'll talk about it in a later date on another episode. But I've been in that situation, and it really sucks. And it's been 4 years since that's happened, and I still can't let it go, which is like crazy to me. That I just can't. I can't let it go. There's just no way I can let it go. And like it's just like, when you say something to that magnitude to somebody, and then they pass away before you can even say sorry or say anything, it's very hard to forgive yourself in a way. And like, man, like I feel her, like I really do. I feel the emotion. And like what's for me, I just feel like I'm an empath, like, cause like when she's like crying and she's like really upset, I get emotional. I get triggered. I get like this feeling. Like I just want to give her a hug and tell her everything's going to be all right. You know what I'm saying? Like, because that's just who I am as a person. I mean, if I see a girl, or not even just a girl, like a guy even crying on the side of the street, I always go up to them and ask them what's wrong. Because like, you never know what that can do for somebody. You know what I'm saying? It can save someone's life. You never know, like, if they're on the brink of suicide or even committing a crime that can lend themselves in, either death penalty if it's allowed in the state, or even fucking, being set to maximum prison like El Chapo. So, like, I always try to, stop and help people when I can. If I see someone upset on the side of the street, I always walk up to them and ask them what's wrong, try to talk to them, make sure they're not in that state of mind where they're wanting to take their own life. Because, like, I believe everybody in this world deserves a life, No one deserves to die for no reason. And yes, like, a mental illness isn't a reason to, like, that to me, a mental illness is not a reason to die. A mental illness like anxiety or depression there should be no reason for you to take your life. There really should not be any sort of reason for you to, say, fuck it, I wanna die tonight. There's always that, that person who's gonna be there for you if you ever feel like you're at that point in your life, you should always have the national suicide hotline on speed dial or in your phone. It's on speed dial for me because I've got, like I said, I've got those illnesses, and it really does suck at the end of the day. You know, it really hits me at nighttime when I'm alone in my room in the dark. It really, it gets to you. You start thinking about shit, like, for instance, I want to say, like, not Friday night, but Thursday night. It was either Thursday or Wednesday night. I was laying in my bed and I was listening to X music because it's what came on, and I was like almost instantly triggered. Like, I felt really down about myself, thinking a lot of negative things. And like the thing is, like, sometimes you can't, you're not always gonna be able to save somebody, and that's what really fucking bugs me, is that like there's just no way to help somebody who's at that, like, really really down in their life and is at that point. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's sad. It really is, and I empathize for people who are in that kind of state, because I've been there more than once, and I know what it's like to do that. And I actually have recordings. Like, I recorded myself when I was getting that way, because what I wanted to do was I wanted to record myself in a state like that, where I was super down on myself, wanting to, off myself. And, like, I look back at the footage, and it's really heartbreaking to see yourself, especially even yourself, being like that, saying things like, I don't want to be here anymore, I'm sick of this shit, I don't want to, it gets to you. And it's crazy how it, like, I watched myself do that, I watched myself say that. And, I am seeing a therapist, and I am on medication, but you know what? Sometimes that medication can make you feel worse. And, and that's what I was always afraid of, going and seeing a therapist, was that if they gave me medication, is it going to help me or is it going to make me worse? And I don't even know how I got onto this topic, man. Like, we started talking about music and then started talking about X, and now I'm talking about suicide and depression, man. See, like, this is what's weird about this podcast. Like, that's what I love about this podcast, man. It's not just one topic, man. We dive into, like, all sorts of fucking shit. Like, it's crazy. And speaking about, being depressed and upset and, crazy and, thinking about a lot of things is, I don't know if, a lot of you probably already heard about it, is, there was another shooting, this week in the, at the Jackson, some place in Jacksonville. And like, it just proves that, like, this world, man, is crazy. You don't know, like, you're gonna wake up one day, you don't know if you're gonna die or not. And it's really just like, it's like you're playing a game of chance, 50-50. Are you gonna stay alive today, or are you gonna die today? You know what I'm saying? Like, it's just like, it's so crazy to me. And like, that's how I felt like how X's day was going, man. He thought he was gonna be living, he's chilling, about to buy a motorcycle, and then boom, shot and killed. Like, man, it's crazy. And over the past, like, week, that's all I've been talking about, because that's all that's been on my mind all this week is, man, why did X have to get shot? Like, why did they have to take his life? What was the reason that they had to take this man's life? Because, like, that man meant so fucking much to me. Even though I didn't know him personally, it was just like, I had this emotional connection to him through music. And like, it's just like, it hits the home, man. And like, I'm even getting emotional talking about it right now, because like, man, it's just crazy. Like, I can't believe it. And it just reminds me of 2000 and I want to say 15, when I was going up to I was walking on this bike trail, and I was jumped by a group of 7 kids, and fucking, they left me there for dead. And a lot of what I've been seeing on the media, people getting killed and shot and things like that, that just makes me feel like I'm very lucky, because I was in that situation. I was left for dead, beat up on this bike trail. I was bleeding out of my nose. They broke my nose in 7 different places. I felt like I was gonna die because like I was losing so much blood so fast, and like my face was all cut up and shit, and like just thinking about X and how someone can easily just pull a trigger and he can lose his life is just like, to me it's just like, fuck. And that's why ever since then I've never complained about anything. I've always sucked it up and said, you know what, at least I'm alive today. Because at the end of the day, you don't know if you're going to wake up for tomorrow. You should never complain about your situation. You should always be thankful of what you fucking have. Because you know what? There's people out there dying. There's people committing suicide. Stop bitching that you don't got a fucking popsicle or you're out of fucking hot dogs. Because you know what? There's someone out there that doesn't have food. There's someone out there who's starving and dying. You know what I'm saying? It's just like, I've learned to accept what I have and not want. And, I'm going to stop complaining about certain things because, you know what? I'm fucking alive. I'm going to suck it up and I'm going to move on. Because, like, it's crazy. You just don't know when you're going to fucking wake up, if you're going to wake up or not in the next day. And you know what? I have anxiety every fucking night. To this day, it's been 3 fucking years. Anytime I hear a loud noise or a loud bang or anything, I freak the fuck out because I think about that day. And, I'm always scared that someone's out to kill me. And that's why I don't go out in public as much. Alone, at least. I'm even afraid of people breaking into my house. Like, it's just like, I live in a constant state of fear all the time. And it's not good for me. But you know what? I can't help it. It's my anxiety, and it's a lot of shit to deal with. You know what I'm saying? When you're left there for dead, it's a really scary situation. And you know what? I had to crawl from where I was all the way to Sam's Club that was by the trail there to fucking get help, which it's nuts, man. It's nuts. I'm still thinking about it today, and I don't want to really. I told the story. Let's move on. Let's get on to a happy topic, right? Let's kind of get on to that topic about, that's happy and joyful and not, down, depressed, upsetting, and you know what I'm saying? In other news, fucking Bad Baby, man. This girl, she's really tough. I just gotta say that. And I know I said I wasn't going to touch, we're going to move on, but she's a tough girl. I believe in that she's going to make it, she's going to get through this because, like, she's a strong girl. And I know X might not be here with her, but I feel that he's with her, by her side, in spirit form, guiding her through this whole ordeal. And God bless her. I hope that she finds the right place, and I hope she can get grace for what she said. And I hope she can move on with her life at some point and say, he's in a better place. You know what I'm saying? That's all. I wish all the best for her, whether she's, dealing with it or not, because you know what? You never know. And I'm a type, I would never wish hate on somebody. I would never wish death on anybody. I would never wish for anybody to have anxiety, depression, or whatever. Because these mental illnesses, they're tough and they are fucking shitty. They really are, man. More shittier than my schedule. I'm telling you that right now. My schedule might be shitty, but mental illness is a lot more shittier. Believe me, it really does suck. So, I don't know, like, today was just, like, yesterday was a crazy day for me, and I was supposed to get, like, 8 videos out, but I was just like, you know what, I'm too tired, I just want to relax, get a little bit of work done, get a little bit of business stuff done, and call it a day, record a podcast, do whatever. Yeah, guess what? That didn't happen. I end up going to, like, one meeting and dealing with other stuff, and it's just like, man, like, you get so caught up in a lot of shit sometimes, being a YouTuber and graphic designer and business owner. It's crazy, man. My life is crazy. But I think I'm gonna wrap that up, man, because like I just put myself in a really bad spot, really bad mood, and I don't want to keep dwelling on depressing topics. So if you guys did enjoy the show this week or this Monday's show, I greatly appreciate it if you would smash that subscribe button. I can't talk. Subscribe to the show. Hit that like button. Also, all my links are down below, even including my apparel company. So I'll see you guys in the next show. Peace.